Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of StarSound Speaks. This is episode 187 with your host, Irlianna Samsara of StarSound Astrology. So the week sets for this is the weekly Astro for Sunday, August 7th through Saturday, August 13th. Ah, what a week. Well, I know last week was what a week. And I have to say that if you are or have the sun or any sun, moon, rising or in Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, the fixed signs, I have a special symphony for you. Yeah, we need a symphony. I have sympathy because yes, it's been hell. Let's face it. I just came apart at the seams several times last week, despite all the yoga and all that. It was like I had my moments, and I think Wednesday had to be one of the toughest days. My cat, I had to put my cat down last month, and my other cat was just very much on the edge, but it looks like he's turned around and he's, it's a Leo thing. What can I say? Intense transformation with this fixed square, the fixed cross in the sign, I can't speak, the grand cross and the fixed sign. So yeah, it's just been, so if you're going through it, just know that I have extreme sympathy for you, and we will definitely, we can lean on each other's shoulders and cry if you have to. It's okay. Keep breathing, right? Or as Dory says in Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, because what the heck else are you going to do? You have to keep on keeping on, but we all have each other. So, and we have this channel, and you have my sympathy and my love. So, all right, onward. All right. So this Sunday, today Venus has been coming into a trine with Neptune. We're past that particular trine, but again, we could be feeling the fallout of this. There's a lot of divine grace with that too. There's an ease and a grace around our hopes, dreams, wishes, and our connections with others. And we could say too, having learned about having maybe experienced some setbacks or some maybe corrections around reality checks. It's like, okay, we can now move forward with our hopes, dreams, and inspirations and things, and connect, in a new fashion that incorporates more of what we want. So we'll be feeling that, today, tomorrow, as it ebbs away. And then today was the big giant Mars square Saturn. Of course, we've been building it up, feeling it for days. Mars in exile taking on Saturn in domicile, Saturn overcoming. So there is, I guess the song that comes to mind for that is, was it John Cougar Mellencamp? I fight authority and authority always wins. That's what it felt like. So I don't know about you, but man, it was so hard getting this podcast out today. I wanted to get this out like yesterday, or at least early this morning when I woke up very early, but I was feeling that intense square. But anyway, we'll still be feeling that, even though it perfected today, this afternoon, Eastern time, about 4 o'clock. We're still feeling it as it pulls away. So the aftermath, the afterburn of that, and that I would say, our creativity and our desires and our passion for connecting and for connecting with nature, connecting with each other in a very stable, grounded, reliable, practical way gets a lot of I don't want to say interference, but we'll say that it can feel like a lot of conflict and frustration and challenge over, like where we want to do the right thing, or we're compelled to do the right thing. We're compelled to think long term. We're compelled to think about, with Saturn, think about the long term plan of our drive, what we're being driven by. We have to, come in with a more sensible approach. It's pushing us to do that. And, as I have often said, Saturn is our friend, even though when you are under the thumb of it, it feels like hell, let's face it. But, Saturn is our friend. And these things are for our greatest movement, even though in the moment it can really feel really, really rough. But, you know, the nice thing about us, any kind of Saturn transit, especially a challenging one like this, is when it's over, you can look back and go, wow, you know, that was something. It was tough being under that thumb, but man, I'm seeing things differently, and we just come out wiser. We come out wiser for it. All right, so tomorrow, Monday, August 8th, we have Venus is in an opposition with Pluto. Pluto in Capricorn, Venus in Cancer in her final degrees, and it will perfect very early Tuesday morning Eastern time, like 1 in the morning. So we'll really feel the culmination of this. And what that would be was, when you think about relationships having a very, we might be entangling ourselves with the wrong people, or maybe for the wrong reasons, or maybe some unseen, hidden, or psychological aspect where secrets, or we're not being honest with ourselves, or there's some maybe deep fears and subconscious patterns come up around how we relate to each other, how we share and engage with our emotions and our vulnerability and sensitivity. So it's a very deep well when you have Venus in opposition with Pluto. And so, you know, when you think about Pluto, like that magnetic, intense calling to transform one's life, to face one's deepest fears, to bring up maybe some deeply cathartic emotional experiences may be had in the next day or so. So if you're feeling that way, or feeling very, you know, emotionally charged, and find yourself going in these dark places, just know that there is that regenerative aspect of Pluto, which we want to keep in mind, that by facing these fears and engaging with each other and with ourselves honestly and authentically, we can create a kind of, you know, there is that lasting change. And that's what Pluto wants of us. It wants a healthy, stable society. It wants, you know, for all of us, for our individual, our own transformation, as well as the collective. So, you know, leaning into those areas that are maybe uncomfortable, but knowing that there is gold in our hills. Okay, Thursday, August 11th, big day. We've got Sun is going to be squaring Uranus. So of course, everybody lined up to take, you know, to square Uranus. First we had Mercury, and, you know, and then we have, you know, and Mars conjunction, and now we have the Sun squaring Uranus. So these are obviously, you know, challenging places. We've got this Grand Cross in different degrees, but in the fixed signs. So this is about support and feeling supported, as well as, you know, that kind of conundrum, that creative friction between ourselves and doing the right thing, and having a container for our emotions and our creative self-expression, and how we work that out. It is really what's at the crux of the matter here. It's definitely a pressure cooker of a time. And then it will be this week, and then next week too, when the Sun comes into its opposition with Saturn, which will be a week from now. So as it builds, you know, we're feeling this big old, you know, major showdown coming. But like I said, you know, we thank God we have astrology to use as a guide, to where we can really you know, get the most of this, and seize the day, as they say, right? What is that? Carpe diem. You know, don't let these things beat us up. You know, we have to really come from this place of, look, this is being done for our greater good, and we can use these things to move forward. This is what they're there for. The Sun squaring Uranus, Sun's in domicile, in domicile in Leo, of course, and coming into that square will be on Thursday, August 11th. Venus is also going to change signs. She'll finally go into Leo. We'll spend about almost a month there. So from August 11th to September 5th, Venus will be in the sign of Leo. And that is, of course, Venus in Leo, you know, show me your love. Put your heart on your sleeve. It's Leo season for Venus. And 7 hours later, after Venus goes into the sign of Leo, we will have the full moon occurs at 19 degrees of Aquarius. And this is again, like I said, fixed, the signs being, it's a fixed sign, it's a supermoon, it's the last supermoon of the year. Supermoon is when the moon is closest to Earth. So it's at what we used to call in the old days perigee, and then we got into supermoons. But anyway, yeah, so the moon is, when it is in that place of perigee close to the sun, of course, obviously a full moon where our emotions and things are always higher, but a supermoon, it's even more tuned up. So the volume is going to be tuned up. And what is the volume going to be tuned up about specifically? Well, look at what we've got. The host of this full moon, where things, of course, coming to fruition, always in the opposite sign of the new moon. So Leo, Aquarius, things come to fruition, things come to completion in a full moon. And what are we, what is culminating here? Well, it's regarding our self, our self-image, our divine light, that who we are as creative, courageous souls, and all of that beauty and self-expression and creative self-expression needs to find a container. So at the full moon, it's like, okay, here's the container, Saturn, right? Container. Okay, it's not like we don't want to have it, but we can feel that kind of pulling away and a difficulty with it can feel very restrictive, and there's this kind of push-pull between ourselves, our will, and then maybe authorities or structures, and whether it's government or authorities or bosses or something that can feel very challenged, and it's what it's really asking us to do is to we have to learn, and it's this process of working out, ourselves, our creative selves versus the man, as we used to call it. So it's not easy. It's a tough one. You've got the retrograde Saturn is the host. It's and the moon it's not only the host of this full moon, but it's also, the moon is 3 degrees. It's conjunct this full moon. So and this full moon is in the bounds of Venus. And so, which happens to have just gone into Leo. So there's definitely a, desire and creativity and expression and love and wanting to connect, but also finding wisdom in the balance, finding and looking at the big picture. Aquarius is always about, what needs to, what's been working, what haven't been working for the collective. Where is there a definite reality check around progress, and how can we innovate, or what needs to go and what needs to be let go of, especially around relationships with the full moon, right? It's home, family, our emotions, our intuitions, intuition. Why am I adding an S to everything? I don't know. Sorry. But anyway, we want to be looking at the big picture to get through this full moon. I think to embrace it and get the lessons is to say, okay, I'm going to look at the big picture, and I'm going to observe as an observer, like being that person with space. So we're not being pulled by our emotions. So we're able to see the big picture. Depending on where this is occurring in your chart is the area of your life where things are coming to fruition. And we want closure, and so that they can, then the next thing can move on and show up in our life. But to observe and to understand, seeing it as again, it's very much a part of this pressure cooker grand cross. And so we're looking at where we innovate, or where have we not, where have we been emotionally unavailable. That could be another way of looking at that. Where is our creativity being limited, or where does it need to be limited to be put into a healthy container that will assist us in carrying our dreams and wishes long term, where it has staying power. Let's see. The ones who will really, just like the Grand Cross, the ones who are really going to feel this most strongly is Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. If you are a Leo sun, this is the this is, I mean, sorry, if you're an Aquarius sun, this is the full moon of your year, right? The culmination of what you began with your birthday earlier in the year. So we'll for sure, everyone, because it's a supermoon, will all feel it very strongly, but especially people in fixed signs will feel it more strongly. You might feel a sense of like stuckness, right? Like something's got to give with this Grand Cross pressure cooker, which of course the full moon is part of. It's definitely feeling a lot of pressure, creative pressure, pressure of society, burdens, integrity. How am I staying in accountability? It's like, we want to like rip our hair out. But so, yes, something's got to give and something will give. And we just have to, stay as calm and centered as we can as we're watching these really big changes occurring, right, in our society, in the earth changes. We think about out in the world with the news, and gosh, what do we have? 2 1-in-1,000-year flooding events, one in St. Louis and one in Southeast Kentucky. Each one of them was a 1-in-1,000-year event, and they happened within 2 days of each other. At the same time, we had the Lake Mead. It's still, the water levels are still going down out in the west. So yeah, a lot going on here. I think too with that feeling of stuckness, that something's got to give, and it really very, very hot. The heat is on, like something needs to shift for us to get freedom. We just know that, there are always sudden changes, a lot of emotional outbursts, sudden changes that occur in our comfort zone. And all we can do is just keep leaning in and knowing that this is for our best, as hard as it may be to accept. To breathe and stay centered and use our breath is absolutely, I can't imagine not spending a day without breathing. Conscious breathing, Kundalini breath, yoga, these things are keeping us grounded and stable. With Uranus being in Taurus, and this very much a part of the mix. And the nodes too, Uranus and the nodes and Mars and the sun and Saturn, they're all calling out to us like, we have got to create a powerful, sustainable place that's different from the past. It's not the way we normally, it's our willpower and our values shifting and changing to meet the earth that is changing, and the new earth that Eckhart Tolle spoke of, this higher mind, a higher, more evolved template. We're just on the brink of this outrageous new chapter right now. And yes, it's always uncomfortable in that birth process, but we got each other. We can do this. This is what is going on. And so as the full moon passes, and again, we'll, from Thursday through, about 3 days later through the weekend, we'll feel the effects of that. And then of course, use the rest of the moon cycle. The completion and the working out of things will of course, take effect. Friday, August 12th, we have, this is when we want to look at when Mars hits an eclipse point, and that's when Mars is going to oppose the May 16th lunar eclipse. So whatever happened for you around, when we want to look at what happened around the middle of May, whatever came up for us in that time period in our own personal life, and of course out in the collective, it's going to have some step forward, or at least be met, desiring to have a step forward, could have some opposition and a little bit of slowdown or challenge. And so that would come up around the 12th, Friday the 12th. And a few days later, we have the Mars will conjunct the November 27th of last year lunar eclipse at 27 degrees of Taurus. So these are definitely hot spots that are on our radar. And you'll see, if you look on your calendar and you look in the news and you look at your own life and go back at what time, whatever that happened, we can see, whatever happened in our life that time that was needing change, major endings, major beginnings, always the eclipse message. This is a chance when things can actually start to move, or at least be engaged with the opposition. Mars opposing the lunar eclipse point on Friday, August 12th, will be like, okay, something's got to give, and I'm contending, and that opposition is like the nature of Saturn. So there's some tension, and there's some seriousness around this. So it's like saying, okay, let's, are you really serious about this? Are you, do you have all your ducks in order? Are you in integrity and accountability? And if you're not, then what needs to shift and be let go of in order to have this transformation occur? And then the last thing I want to say is Saturday, August 13th, we have Mars is at 26 degrees Taurus, is going to be conjunct the fixed star Algol. And of course, that's where the eclipse was last November, right? It was 1 degree from Algol. So again, this is the embodying this transformation, claiming, especially as women, claiming our power, finding our voice, what had been cut off, regaining our voice, our voices, our collective voices, our creative voices, right? And so that is going to be Mars will, what direction do we want to take with that? Are we going to remain voiceless, or are we going to stand in our power, but not in a typically Marsy way, Mars in exile? No, he's learning to have that drive and passion and bravery, but in support of the divine feminine, in support of the earth, in support of us being connected with nature and feeling stable and grounded, and all of the Taurian, sensuality and self-worth and money issues and all of those things that Taurus represents coming together. And so Mars in that conjunction with Algol will have an opportunity there again to observe, make these choices. We are at choice. It doesn't have to go into a reactive space, which would be a shadow part of Mars. We don't want to retreat into our comfort zone either, like excessive hedonistic pleasure could be a Mars and Taurus thing, a laziness, or just, engaging in that as an escape. It's like, no, we want to, and we can move powerfully with this transit. And then by the end of the week, Saturday, technically into next Sunday, the sun will enter into an opposition with Saturn again, as this is occurring, right? It's just, this is more engagement here. Sun in domicile, Saturn in domicile. It's like the two cowboys in high noon, right? Walking down the street. This town's not big enough for the two of us, This solar system is not big enough. Yeah, well, it is. They've been around forever. We will move through this, but it is, it's Clint Eastwood and whatever, his nemesis, and they're ready to draw their gun. They might feel like that, but what are they drawing? Well, it's like, okay, Leo, the bright, shining, wanting to ta-da, I'm here. I love me. I love the world. I love love. And Leos, we're in love with love. And so adventure and the creative spark that animates all life, all vitality. It's all Leo, right? The sun, vitality, our life force. And again, that opposition is really our friend. It's calling us to see, how can we be mature and accountable with this outrageous creative expression of ours? How can we make this work? And Saturn wants that of us. It says, hey, have your creativity be long lasting. Have your creativity have some sticking power. Don't just, do it for the sake of your own vanity and selfishness and conceit. Think about others, and maybe to be that beautiful, unique person that is benefiting humanity, to have that like higher octave. So that's what that opposition, one of the things that it's going to really be calling us to do. So yeah, that's all I have for this week. And anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. If it's given you at least some chuckles or some things to think about. Certainly, like I said, I'm just still in it. It's not been easy for me. And I know many people have talked to me about that. So just know that it's okay. This too shall pass. We will we can intend that we garnish the greatest amount of wisdom from these transits, because that's, you know, that's what they're there for. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this, and if you have, then please feel free to write me, let me know how you're doing in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. It always helps the channel. So yay. All right, that's all for now. And we have some excellent guests. We have my wonderful cohorts, Lindsay, Michelle Erdl, Rachel Middleton. They're coming back. You haven't met Michelle yet, but you will. So we're going to be talking cool stuff, and we'll also be I have some really great guests lined up. I haven't gotten the exact dates hammered down yet, but you're going to love what we've got in store with guests, more guests coming up in the next few months. So yay, and people coming back that I haven't seen in a while. So Vanessa Montgomery being one of them. So it's going to be great. So got lots more for coming your way. So anyway, I hope to see you very soon. Take care, all for now. Big love and have a great week. This is Irlianna Samsara, StarSound Speaks, StarSoundastrology.com. Thank you all for listening. Bye for now.